Have you ever heard of Thomas the Tank Engine? If you have been around Little Falls, I'm sure you may have. My cousin Ice Shard loves Thomas so much that he could name all the trains. He knew what color they were in and even the number that had painted on them. I kind of thought it was a good story for Falls, but that all changed one day. Twilight walks into her front room bringing waffles to Spike, Starlight, and Nyx. "Morning, Mom," Nyx said. "Morning, Nyx, Spike, and Starlight. Here's breakfast," Twilight replies. As the family eats, Spike talks about asking Rarity out, and Nyx giggles. Starlight begins to ask, "What do you think happened to Cozy Glow?" "Princess Celestia told me she just sent her back home," Twilight answered. Suddenly the door horns blare out at the 3-second tune. "Oh, that must be Derpy out with the mail," Spike says as he makes his way towards the door. "Mom, I heard from Naystay that he was sent to Tartarus," Nyx said. Twilight ponders for a bit, and then Princess Celestia never lies to me, Nyx. "I'm sure Cozy's fine." "Twilight!" Spike had just burst through the door, startling the others. "Spike, don't scare us like that," said Twilight. Spike chuckles nervously and says, Sorry girls, I just got a letter from Aunt Firefly and Ice Shard is coming here for a visit." "Really?" Twilight said with an excited tone. Twilight then looked at the letter and she was so excited that her 7-year-old cousin was coming to Ponyville tomorrow. But then she remembered something unfortunate. "Guys, tomorrow I have to grade the essays from School of Friendship," Twilight said. Starlight then thought for a moment till she had an idea. "She likes Thomas, right? So why not buy her a Thomas DVD?" Starlight suggested. Twilight liked the idea and decided to go to the video store to buy a DVD. At the video store, Twilight was looking around to figure out which DVD would be best. Where is the full section? And said Twilight asked herself. Then she scrolled through the store. Then she could see that the movies were every kind, like Raiders of the Lost Mark, Nightmare on Manhattan. Finally, she found a full section of lots of store and searched for Thomas DVDs. "Come on, where's that bump?" Twilight then bumped into a box that seemed empty, but she could see something was inside it. She used her magic to pick it up, and saw it was a DVD case. The DVD was called Thomas and the Children. It looked innocent enough. Thomas was smiling, the foals were sticking their heads out with the coaches waving. Twilight bought the DVD and went over to the computer to purchase it. "How much do you want the DVD?" Twilight asked. The shop worker looked at the DVD, an odd look, and said, "Princess, I don't quite remember receiving this DVD to be sold." Well, that was odd. The shop records everything that we receive on sale, but that was when the cashier checked the title and that DVD wasn't on it. He just shrugged it off and told Twilight that they don't own it, so she could just take it. Twilight then just has had to leave 2 bits anyway, and she has to go to the store to bring the DVDs home. "Wait till Ice Shard sees this," Twilight told herself. Day, a knock was heard at the door, and Twilight went to answer it. "Hi, Twilight," Ice Shard said. "Hello, Ice. It's so good to see you." Twilight brought her cousin inside, and they greeted Spike and Nyx, and Starlight was on a trip with Trixie at the Changeling Kingdom to visit Forax. "I'm very glad you're here now, so we can play," Ice Shard said excitedly. Twilight sighed. "Unfortunately, I have work to do, and Spike and Nyx are going to help me, but that's why I got you this." She then pulls out a DVD. Ice Shard was so excited to see the DVD that was right off that she pleaded with Twilight to pop it into the DVD player. Twilight, Spike, and Nyx were all into work while she watched the episode. 2 hours later, Twilight just got finished grading Smolder's essay and was about to grade Gallus when Ice Shard came in, looking as pale as a sheep. "Twilight," she said. "Are you okay?" Twilight asked. Then she felt the ice's head and noticed her temperature went up. "But why did Thomas kill the children?" Twilight's heart sank like stone, and then brushed off. "I'm sure Thomas didn't kill the children. Now you need your medicine and go to bed." After helping Ice get ready for bed, Spike asked Twilight what was going on, and Twilight told him about what Spike said about the children. Spike was equally surprised. "What did you see on DVD, Twilight?" Spike asked. "Well, I don't know, but why not we find out?" Twilight then looked at the DVD case and noticed a number at the bottom right corner, 666. Odd. Spike got some popcorn while Twilight put in the DVD. Well, it didn't have a main menu like most DVDs, it just went straight to the episode. It looked normal so far. Thomas was told to pick up a group of foals and take them to a seaside by Startop and Hat. And then the first place Twilight noticed that there was no narrator in the episode, and the episode then showed Thomas picking up the kids, they climbing on board like always. There was a scene where Thomas was zooming down the rails with the children cheering. Then there was trouble. Twilight and Spike saw that Birdie the bus was stuck on the railroad tracks and wondered what was about to happen. That's when the episode got dark. Birdie stared at Thomas in fear, but the blue goo engine just kept smiled and sped up. And what was worse, he started laughing. Now the kids were crying. Thomas then crashed into Birdie, causing pieces of him to go flying everywhere. The screen then shows the carnage inside. Of course, it was so messed up that I felt really sick. It looked like real blood splattered everywhere, and then the screen went to static as Spike started to feel sick. And Twilight felt herself boiling over with anger. What a sick son of a gun would make something like this so messed up for kids? Messages started to appear on the screen, disturbing ones like kill, obey, multiply, and die. Twilight then drew the disc away and breaking it in half. She then went to check on Ice Shard, who was happily asleep. Twilight then tucked in Spike and Nyx, and they all went to bed, including herself. She went to bed. Twilight was in her bed. She couldn't stop thinking about how disturbing that DVD was, about talking about it for 2 hours. She finally went to bed. In Twilight's dream, Twilight was still in her room. She thought she heard a voice. Twilight turned around the door. Hello? Is some pony there? No reply. She decided to shrug it off and sat back down. But then the door shook. Huh? Spike, is that you? This time she heard giggling, and then she opened the door slightly, and Twilight watched after 5 seconds of silence. The little red wooden colt covered in blood walked into the room, followed by another and another until there was about 20 of them. Twilight gasped in horror. Suddenly one of their fillies jumped onto Twilight, causing her to scream. The other foals followed her, started piling up on her. Her twisted forms then grabbed her wings and pulled them off, followed by herself being torn apart. But whatever it was, she heard that train laughing. Twilight was now awake with sweating, and she just had the worst nightmare in her life. She ended up telling Spike about it, and he felt very bad for Twilight and told her just to forget about it because it never really happened. You're right, Spike. I just need to get it over with, Twilight said. Suddenly, Twilight swore that she could hear a sound of shuffling. Of course, she didn't know what it was. Twilight was in the kitchen eating the hay burger when she was talking to herself. Ah, what a day it's been. Nyx is having a sleepover with the Crusaders. Starlight is running the school of friendship, and Twilight remembers Spike and then hasn't come out of his room all day. All day, not even for meals. Twilight had given him a gem pie ready for him, but it's usually by the time Spike was already able to eat. Spike's been up there for a little while. I should go check on him. Twilight left the kitchen to find her little brother and entered Spike's room. But of course, Spike was then lying down with a face in the other direction. Spike, you've been sleeping all day. Get up. Spike? Twilight kept shaking him, but he wouldn't respond. Then she got to nudge him awake and felt something odd. Spike was cold. Twilight entered Spike to see that what shocked her. Spike was basically killed. Spike! Twilight gasped and she was crying out, No, Spike! Eek. Suddenly, Twilight saw the vortex appear about 10 feet away from her. What is that? The name of Faust? Out of the giant manacled black hand with a blue arm, it revealed to be a mangled arm from form of Thomas with red eyes and fangs. It only showed approaching Twilight. Twilight backed away with her leg, holding up foreleg up. Suddenly the creature lunged at Twilight, of course, attacking her. She screamed in agony as she clutched to where she's been in pain. The creature then grabbed her and pulled her into the vortex. Twilight woke up surrounded by dead trees and a rusty metal, and then she heard shuffling behind her and saw Thomas with those red eyes. She then looked at the anonymous voice. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the island of Sodor. Twilight then wakes up, but it was all a horrible nightmare. Ice Shard wasn't even there yet, but Twilight knew something else was. She had to find something else for a watch, so she ended up canceling the visit. And then she looked up at Thomas, and she never looked at Thomas the same way again. And that, my little pretties, was Twilight versus Thomas and the Children, a My Little Pony, Thomas and Friends creepypasta written by Tidal Wave2. So Tidal Wave, thank you so much for writing this story. Thank you for letting me read this story. So yeah, my final thoughts on this story. Well, I could definitely say I have some good things to say about this story, but I also have some negatives that I have to say about this story. So I'm going to go with the positives because, you have to start with the positives, although there are some exceptions, but let's see. For one, the grammar was actually really well done. That was actually one of the good positives I have to say, was that the grammar was really well done and really well made. It actually fits out well with the whole concept and the story itself. That I could definitely say was actually a really good, well made concept. With the whole, with the grammar. The grammar was actually pretty good, along with the sentence structuring and the storyline. And, to be completely honest, I actually found, that to be pretty silly. Now, despite the cliches in there, if you guys have read the original Thomas and the Thomas and the Children creepypasta, I think I remember hearing it on Shadow's channel and Andal's channel. I remember Andal narrated this. So, of course, with that being said, I'm going to be completely honest that I'm not that crazy on this story. I'm just saying that. I'm not that crazy on this story. Don't get me wrong, it's a good story with the whole thing itself, but I do have some things that I just want to say. Because one thing I could definitely say was that it's almost like, it's basically a copy and paste off of, well, Thomas and the Children. Like, it's kind of like a crossover, so to speak, with My Little Pony and that. It was really messed up, I could definitely say. It was just, there were some parts of it that I just couldn't read because they were so completely messed up in many ways than I could count. So, with that being said, I'm gonna sit here and say, there was this, another thing, one of the issues I have to say was that it's kind of like a copy and paste. Now, I don't know if this was the author copy and pasting. I'm not saying it's plagiarism, I'm not saying that, but I could definitely say it kind of looked like it was copy and paste, but there's something to the author. So to the author who is watching this, if you think this story is fine, that's fine, but I would recommend not to rip off any stories. I'm not trying to sound rude. I'm only doing this so I can help you get better with your writing. But not only that being the case, the other two stories I read by you, they were good so far. I would recommend maybe not ripping off any other stories. Just saying that now. Like, I know this was a crossover, so to speak, but, that's just for next time. If you're gonna do a crossover, like, with characters in a certain creepypasta, you gotta have to make it form sense. Unless if it's supposed to be a troll pasta, then that could be an excusable answer. Unless if it's a troll pasta, that would be quite different. If it was a troll pasta, so to speak. That's if it was supposed to be a troll pasta. I'm not really sure. I don't even know. Okay. And another thing that I really didn't really think it was necessary was including 666. You guys probably know how that really, irritates me when I see people putting 666 in like a creepypasta. It doesn't make your story scary. It just doesn't. I'm just saying. It doesn't make your story scary. It just makes it feel as if no one wants to put any effort into the story. So that is just kind of disappointing. I'm not saying the story disappointed me. It didn't. Well, it could be a little better, per se. It could have been better. But although it was an alright story, it's not perfect, but I did see some better ones out there. So I'm just gonna definitely say that right here. So I guess I'm just gonna try to say is this story, well, it was actually, decent. It just needed a little bit more polishing up, so to speak. I guess that you could probably say it needed some polishing up, but I really don't really know. That I'm just saying I really, really, really don't know. Oh, pardon me about that. I'm pretty tired. So I'm just gonna sit there and explain what could have been done to make the story better. Now, what could have been done to make the story and done a little better is maybe take out the 666 thing, because that didn't really make the story scary. I know this pasta, the Thomas and the Children, I know it's a cliched story, so I'm not that crazy on it either, but to see Twilight going through all that, it's kind of freaky, but at the same time it kind of really doesn't. Like, I'm not trying to bash anybody here. What I'm just trying to say is if you're gonna make a creepypasta crossover, you gotta make sure it flows well with the crossover story you plan to make. Because if you just sit there and make a crossover and not have an explanation, not even, making it work, and just throw it in there for the sake of throwing it in there, it just doesn't make your story good. I'm not saying that is always the case. I know, unless if it was a troll pasta, then maybe that could be an exceptional, but I really am not sure. But I'm not trying to toot my own horn here. I've done this like a couple of times with creepypastas, and they don't turn out good because I just didn't like how they went out. And that's just something. That's really the case when it came to these kind of stories. So I'm just gonna sit there and say, if this story actually was okay to you, that's totally fine. Fine to the author. So if the author likes his story, that's fine. If he doesn't like it, that's fine too. But I've written bad stories in the past. I still write them every now and then, but at least I have better grammar and stuff. That is a positive. But with this matter, it just doesn't. I really don't know what it is, to be completely honest, and I'm not even sure what it is exactly. But this story, in my opinion, it was decent, but there were a couple of problems with the story. I already addressed it. I'm not going to go over them again because I already explained what's I didn't really care for. But the story itself could have been a little better. And, that's just me talking, but I really don't know. Okay. I think I kind of really already explained what I didn't like about it, what I liked about it. I'm going to wrap up the review because there's nothing really else more to explain. So, I'm going to say here and say this right now, and like I always continue to say, this is simply my own personal opinion, and if you happen to disagree with me, that's fine too. We're all entitled to our own opinions regards to these creepypastas, and this is simply my own personal thoughts. My final rating of the story, I'm going to give this one a 6 out of 10. I know that might be a little bit high, but, I'm giving it a 6 out of 10 because at least it was something to make something decent to make like a lost episode, crossover with My Little Pony. At least the author did try his best to do it. I'm just gonna say there was a couple flaws with the story that really need to be revised and worked on. But other than that, the story was alright for what it is. It's not perfect, but I've seen some other better crossovers. So I'm not saying this one sucks. No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying this one needs polishing up, so to speak. Like, the author could probably polish up the story and make it better. And yeah, that's what I would have personally done. But with that being the case, I kind of already explained what I liked and didn't like about it. So anyways, what did you guys all think about this creepypasta? Did you all enjoy it? Did you not? Also, what would you have done personally to help make this story a lot better? Leave me know what your thoughts are down in the comment section down below. I'm the Queen of Lions. Thank you so much for watching today's episode. And if you happen to be brand new here on this channel, be sure to like, comment, subscribe because I make brand new videos every single day. Don't forget to ring the notification bell to when I upload so then you guys will not miss an upload. And as always, please roll the outro because I'm out of here and I'll be catching you all in the next video. So peace out, everyone. As always, I'll see you all next time.